Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. The first full week of box office is in for Birds of Prey, the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn / Harley Quinn : Birds of Prey / just Birds of Prey / what they're calling it this week. And it's time to have a look at how it's actually doing. Not just doing in general, but how is it actually doing comparatively to its rival films. Films that it should absolutely be competing with. And this is a video that I didn't have to make. But after seeing all of these tears over the last few days, I felt it my duty to make them cry more. Games Radar, is Birds of Prey actually a box office flop? We look at the numbers. Birds of Prey box office troubles go back to one bad decision. Just one bad decision? Just one? I mean, they're referring to the R rating, which we will discuss. But now you see, the narrative has changed. Because remember our good friend Jerry just a few days ago, who was ranting and raving about Birds of Prey not doing so well because teenage boys didn't turn up to the cinema, you see, because boys, they're just so toxic. All they want is to see beautiful people in films. Attractive, beautiful people on screen at the movies. Who knew? Who knew that? Who knew that? And because they hadn't turned up, the film's a flop. It's their fault. But demographics have come in, folks. Demographics have come in, and 54% of people that turned up to watch Birds of Prey was a guy. I love it when narratives fall apart right in front of your face. So Jerry obviously took to Twitter to apologise and then created a tweet saying, "Women, why didn't you step up and go see your empowerment movie?" Of course he didn't. He's too busy shouting about Trump. Of course he didn't, because his narrative fell apart. Then we've got The Independent. Everybody wants to tell you why Harley Quinn Birds of Prey are flopsies, but most of them are wongsies, even though The Independent is partially wrong. You see, this is what they're now playing with. They're playing with partial truths. They're taking all of the reasons why it failed, dismissing a vast majority of them, and now they're playing with this card, which is the R rating. Why? Because if you have to go into the full reasons why it failed, and we'll just briefly go into it again. You had an inexperienced director, but you can't blame her, because she's a woman. And then you had an inexperienced writer, but you can't blame them, because they're a woman. And they both speak up against misogyny and the male gaze and toxic masculinity and all this sort of shite. You know, so they're not to blame. Can't blame them. You know, it wasn't the film itself to blame that its trailers looked horrendous. It looked like an absolute mess. It looked like a joke. No, that wasn't to blame at all. That people thought, oh, this doesn't look very good. I'm not going to pay see it. No. That had nothing to do with it whatsoever. Word of mouth spreading after it released, of course. Oh no, that's actually a really good film. No, because that's not spreading around. Because word of mouth is spreading around that it's not very good at all. And word of mouth is a very powerful marketing tool because it's coming from regular people, not people with agendas. Not people kissing ass, sucking bum, because they want to get their interviews with stars and they want to get their exclusives and all this sort of stuff. No. Or, in current day, unfortunately, I have to add this to the equation, that it goes against their political agenda. Because, fuck knows, in a comic book movie, we need political agendas, of course. Oy vey. That's why Batman was so popular under Christopher Nolan. It was actually about Margaret Thatcher's reign as Prime Minister in the 80s and early 90s. No, they're just good movies, you know, heaven forbid. And so they're dismissing all that and they're just going with the R rating. So, yeah, sure. Also, the fact that Harley Quinn was just annoying as hell. And the characters were pathetic. And they were just characters in name only for most of them. Anyway, no. Let's get to it. So, tears, more tears, please. Your tears, they like pre-workout. They feed me. So, These are the actual figures itself. Worldwide, it's done 154 million so far. Sound a big number? It's not very good, trust me. This is your big week, your launch week. This is the major one for you. This is where you're going to pull in your biggest bucks. Unless your movie is sensational, and then word of mouth starts spreading around the place, and then people just flock. More people flock to it, which is an anomalous occasion, can I just stress. This is your big week, and your big week, they likely haven't broken even. When you take budget, marketing, box office take, all of that, taxes, all of that sort of stuff off of it, they're probably nowhere near breaking even right now. And the film was only, 92 odd million budget. It says 84.5 here. There's been a lot of ranges saying 80 from this to 92.1 or something like that. Anyway. So it's somewhere in that region. It probably hasn't even hit it. But this is a really interesting one. Domestically, 42 million. Internationally, 112. Domestically, only 27.3% of the audience is domestic. International, 72.7%. Now, it's great to have a strong domestic marketplace. A strong international marketplace. But it's got to be supported with your domestic. And it's not. So this is all comparative with each other. The international, I think the first week of that international was meant to be around about the 80 million they predicted, and it did around 62 or something. So the international has done better throughout the course of the week. However, domestically, it released at 33.8 million, and it's only managed to get about another 9 million throughout the course of the rest of the week. Ouch. So domestically, it's falling apart in America at the moment. If I just scooch this up slightly, there we go. You can see the first weekly take domestically. And what is a big thing that needs to be taken into consideration is the number of theatres. 4,236 theatres. It actually launched to one of the most distributed films, which is absolutely massive. Now, I want to talk about the R rating. Did the R rating affect the movie? Absolutely. But the R rating is coupled together with all those other things. Should Harley Quinn have been an R-rated movie? No. When I saw the film, I didn't understand why it was an R-rated movie. I didn't understand what they were trying to achieve. They didn't take that R rating and run with it. They just thought, oh, it's an R rating, so every 4 or 5 minutes, Harley Quinn's just going to go, motherfucker, fuck. Just completely out of the blue, didn't really fit a situation, felt very conspicuous. And as for the violence is so tame in this film. Very, very tame indeed. I think not that anyone cares about spoilers, but spoilers for the next 30 seconds. Not that anyone cares, but I think the most gruesome thing that happens is at the end when Roman Sionis gets knocked off a bridge and he's got a grenade in his pocket and it blows up and he just goes... And that's it. Other than that, I can't think of anything that would make you go, She jumps on some guy's knees and breaks them. There's a lot of men getting kicked in the balls, obviously. But other than that, no, it's just so... Look, she's going around the police station with a bloody beanbag gun, for fuck's sake. Shooting people and confetti smashing everywhere. This is not... the reason to go R is daft. And when they made that decision, they didn't lean into it. They didn't take that R-rated movie, R rating, and go, right, this is an R-rated movie, boom, we're going to do this, this, and this. No, they just used it to say some swear words here or there and have Sionis blown up at the end. We're destroying the patriarchy! So the R rating is stupid. But then you have to add on everything that I mentioned and the marketing. Because marketing is a huge aspect when it comes to movies. When you want to potentially view a movie, and you're watching some vignettes by the actors or director or whatever, or you're reading articles online or in newspapers, you're wanting them to sell you the film as a wrestling expression, or just an expression in general, to put bums on seats. A wrestling expression is, I'm going to talk you into the arena, which means the wrestler does an amazing promo that makes you unable to not see the pay-per-view that you have to pay for. Oh, I am definitely paying this $20 because I need to see Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley fight, or whatever it may be. So how did the marketing for this movie go? Hey, target audience, this movie is about misogyny, down with the patriarchy, and how toxic masculinity is disgusting. That doesn't talk people into theatres. That doesn't talk your audience into going watching your film. It puts, surprise, surprise, people off. It's like, oh, does this movie sound like fun? No. Do these people sound like they respect their target audience? No. And it's a huge factor when it comes to getting people. So let's look at Joker. It's the obvious comparison because it came out recently and it's an R-rated movie. And you can see why it's an R-rated movie because of the themes that it deals with in the film. There is some gruesome violence hither and dither. And, well, the language, etc. So you can see why it is, even though it uses them very effectively. Not gratuitously, like a Deadpool, and we'll get on to Deadpool in a moment, but it uses it effectively at the right moments to have the correct impact. It's as if the director maybe knew what they were doing and the inexperienced director didn't. But we can't blame them because they're a whammons. So look at Joker's domestic first week. $137 million on its way to a worldwide of 1.072 billion. Birds of Prey, 42. So Joker is way, way ahead on that. Aquaman. Yes, I'm bringing Aquaman into this. Because although Aquaman isn't an R-rated movie, Aquaman was the character everybody wanted to laugh at the Justice League. Oh my god, Aquaman's going to be in. Isn't that the guy that talks to fish? Even Zack Snyder made a bloody joke about it. But Jason Momoa owned it. He came out and he's got his beautiful, beautiful body. And he's got his lovely hair and beard and his trident. And then all the people were just like, holy shit, this is Aquaman. So they put out his movie and it's a fun movie. From what I've heard. I haven't seen it personally. The feedback I've got, it's just a fun film. A fun romp. That's it. What does it take first week? 132 million. No agendas. No telling people that if you are toxic masculinity or misanthropy or misogyny or patriarchy or whatever nonsense. No, we're making a fun superhero movie. We'd like you to go see it. It's Aquaman. It's got special effects coming out the wazoo. Go see it. Jason Momoa's got real buff titties. And then Deadpool. Deadpool opened to 180 million domestically. All of these are domestic, not international, domestic. Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, 42 million. Now, stop me if you've heard it before, but have you heard this? Harley Quinn, she's the DC Deadpool. No, she isn't. Modern day Harley Quinn is. But the Harley Quinn that started in the 90s with Batman the Animated Series, that grew to popularity off her own back, off of how the character was portrayed. Is it Tara Strong that did the voice for her? If I got that wrong, I do apologise. How well she played Harley Quinn, how Harley Quinn played a very clever dual role. She played the role of the Joker's Moll very well indeed, using her, again, sparingly, not all the time, sparingly, letting the Joker take the limelight, because the guy's had so much, 80, 70 odd years worth of history behind it. Of course, that was the main character, because there's so much more to that character. And then it allowed the Harley Quinn character to develop off her own back. And then, when she wasn't with the Joker, when she was having troubles with the Joker, they put her with Poison Ivy. The very calm and collective Pamela Isley, and also teased that there was a relationship dynamic between those two as well. And they did it very well indeed. Not ham-fisted, not heavy-handed, little hints, little innuendo. Very well done. Classy, one might say. And then, because of the popularity of Harley Quinn, and because of today's unfortunate politics, they gradually, over time, have started to erode the character. We'll give her own series. She's going to be a zany... Oh, she'll be the DC Deadpool. Right there, you've already failed. You already failed when you did that. Why? Because Harley Quinn became Harley Quinn and popular off her own back. Now, let's copy someone else. Let her be the fourth wall breaking, zany, whoopsie doopsie. Am I gonna do a weirdy wobbly? Well done, you just destroyed your own character. Congratulations. So the popularity that got Harley Quinn to where she was is now being eroded away as they try and copy and play second fiddle to a character that does it much better in Deadpool. Because they've been doing this for a long, long time. And there was like 3 or 4 looks at the camera during the whole of the movie. There was barely any fourth wall. If you want to call the narration fourth wall, I don't personally. Because there's plenty of films that have a narrator telling you things. Doesn't necessarily mean it's fourth wall breaking. But when you have just a few kind of looks at the camera, Deadpool, there were nods everywhere. Little nods everywhere. And the nods weren't just from looking at the camera. It was by bringing real life into the movie. We're off to see Professor X. Which one is it? Is it McAvoy or Stewart? Those were the funnies. But now you just got Harley Quinn going, I'm doing a narration, so I must be fourth wall breaking. She could have been reading a fucking diary for all we knew. I'm gonna look at the camera like 3 times during the movie. She couldn't do it anywhere near as good as Deadpool's. Nothing like Deadpool. They knew what they were doing and they did it perfectly. Birds of Quinn. That's it. New title. Birds of Quinn. That's the new title for the film, folks. This week it's Birds of Quinn. Warner Brothers have changed it again. Birds of Quinn, they didn't know what their film was. From the moment they got their R rating to the characters they had. They didn't know what their movie was. They didn't know how to use Harley Quinn. They didn't know how to use Black Canary. They didn't know how to use Cassandra Cain or the Huntress. They didn't know what they're doing. Oh, we're just again, because it's diversity bingo. Oh, we just need to click these demographics. But they've got nothing to do with their source material. Got no respect for their source materials. So Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, the fantabulous emancipation of Birds of Quinn, didn't fail just because it was an R-rated movie. It failed because it was a mess. An unmitigated mess. Of people not knowing what they were doing, inexperienced, poor writing, horrendous marketing, an R rating that they didn't know what to do with either, just as part of an ensemble of shite that has led to a terrible domestic first week. Anywho, hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links, they're in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.